So the finish is all dried up. Now what I'm going to be doing is hiding this seam. There are lots of ways to do it. You could wrap the tip of the bow, you could use tape, you could use other fillers on here. Now, what I'm going to be doing is taking a piece of leather and simply gluing it on to cover up the seam. Really simple. I'm using some deer leather. This is some suede deer leather. Really nice, really soft stuff. And I think it complements the color of this bow. So this is just something I do. It's not historically accurate or anything like that. But it'll also serve to protect the tip of the bow when it's being used. So what I'm going to do is take my little piece of leather, and I've got some Duco cement, just any kind of all-purpose cement. You could use contact cement if you wanted to. So really simply, you just go ahead and spread cement onto the leather. Alright, so once I've gone ahead and got glue on here, what I want to do is hold it and actually place it down where I want it to go on the tip of the bow, line it up, and then just sort of press it down, make sure it's centered in where I want it to be, because it'll be hard to move it around once it's in place and set. Alright, so there it is. So there's one side. Now I'm going to basically just go ahead and repeat this on the other sides. Once I'm done with that, I'll show you what that looks like. And here it is. So here's the leather on all four sides. See, it adds a little bit of body to the tip, just a little bit. Alright, so the next step is we're going to be putting a wrap over this handle. The way this is going to go is the wrap is going to fill this entire 5-inch handle, with the idea being that when you grip the bow, you're actually going to grip the lower portion, shoot off the hand, and actually shoot on the handle wrap itself. So the leather is going to be sort of an integral arrow pass to protect the finish of the bow. So what I'm doing really simply is I've taken the handle of my bow and marked the exact center again. And I've got this piece of leather. This is cut to 5 inches long, which is our handle, and then it is 3 5/16 of an inch wide. What's great is that, if you're not sure how big your handle wrap needs to be, you just take your pipe, figure out what the diameter is, you'll multiply that by pi, and you get a good estimation as to how wide this needs to be, because this is just a round pipe. So you can see it wraps around nicely. Now I've marked center on the bow. I've also gone ahead and marked center on this piece. And I've also gone ahead and marked little holes. These holes are 1/4 inch apart. This is so that I can actually stitch this, and I'm going to be using artificial sinew to sort of stitch this together. So the first step is that we're going to be putting a removable adhesive on the back side of the handle, or on the belly side of the handle, sorry. So we can place our leather there, it'll stay, and then we can stitch it up. So I'm going to show you how I stitch a handle like this. Here we go. Okay, so I'm using this permanent double-sided tape. What I've done is I stuck on a piece here to the inside of my leather. Then I take the leather, match the center of the leather with the center mark on the bow. Make sure it's lined up and even. Then you go ahead and you stick the handle onto the bow like this. I just want to make sure that it's centered. Because it's tape, you can sort of mess around with it, move it around to make sure that it's where it needs to be. Okay. So that looks good. So now that I've got this all set up, I've got some artificial sinew. This is a polyester artificial sinew. You could use saddle stitching thread or really any sort of heavy duty thread. You could even use the internal cords of paracord. Just something that's really tough. So I've gone ahead and cut a fairly long piece of sinew. I'd rather have extra than not enough. So you take the end, and basically you just want to go through these holes that you made. So I like to start from the inside. Bring it through. I like to leave about 6 inches extra so that I can go back and finish up the ends. Bring it over. So I went in through this one, then I'm going to go over to the other side, down one, I'll show you what that does. So as you can see, it creates a little bit of a crossover. And we're just going to keep doing that and just crisscrossing all the way down. Then once we get to the bottom, we're going to crisscross back up to the top. So basically you just want to keep doing that all the way down to the end. And then you want to sort of turn it back on itself and just do exactly what you're doing this side on the other side. So you get a nice defined ridge here, as you can see. And that's going to form our handle. So now it's got a nice little grip to it. It's also got a place for the arrow to go. And here's the bow all finished up and ready to go. So now I'm going to let everything dry and get set. And as you can see here, this leather is actually protecting the nock area. And another thing it's going to do is that when you unstring this bow, the string will actually run along the piece of leather and it won't damage the paint on the bow. So you can actually unstring it like this, leave one side permanently knotted, and then have the other side come like this. You can also hang this up on a traditional bow rack this way, and the leather will keep you from scratching your finish. So here's the bow. Next step is to just shoot it for you guys. So I'm gonna wait for the sun to come out again, and we're gonna do that. Here we go.